Maserati go.
Let me explain. I believe that white people are naturally envious towards us because they see.
Okay, we have Tommy Sotomayor giving this guy a history lesson. This guy's really slow. He doesn't think he's slow, but he's slow.
Believe what you want about white people and it not be called retarded.
No, let me explain. I believe that white people are naturally envious towards us because they see our genetic superiority. And we've always historically had more than they've had. I do believe that they have. Does that not make sense?
When is the last time that you can remember black folks had more than whites? That's all I'm asking. When's the last time you remember?
I was never here for that.
Okay, what about your parents? Did they remember the time when blacks had more than whites? Nope.
I don't know.
What about their parents? Don't say you don't know when you one of these same black people who are talking about black history and white slaving black people.
I don't know. I'm not my parent.
You do know. You know that back in the fucking 60s, they didn't have more than white people. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't
That's
make
true. They didn't.
sense. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're not even trying to be logic. My point.
Not what you asked me.
Huh? That's what I asked you. I said, do your parents remember a time when they in their time that they had more than whites?
Like, but I don't know because
so
I'm not
your grandparents, they never had more than whites. No blacks in the United States ever had more than whites.
Not in the United States.
Now let's go back before then. When whites were colonizing all of Africa, how were they able to colonize all of Africa?
Because they used their malicious intentions to trick the people into thinking that they meant well when they were really just trying to take over.
So when was the time in which the blacks, because remember, the Moors attacked Italy and did the same shit to them. But we go back to Italy. Every time you pro-blacks talk about the Moors, they were, wait a minute. Moors. Anytime pro-blacks talk about the Moors, they talk about them as conquerors and great warriors. So why shouldn't whites be able to talk about their great warriors who took over blacks? Because y'all big up the Moors for going and fucking over white people, going into Italy and raping and pillaging. Literally, that's what they did. But we big up Hannibal. That's what he did.
I know nothing about the Moors, but they can talk as highly as they want with their historical people.
Oh, it's not cool that when we talk about blacks who kicked whites' ass, we can say it in a nice way and be proud of it. But whites can't be proud of kicking blacks' ass.
As I was saying, I don't care what they do. My point is the source of it all is not us. We didn't start off being the way that we are with black women.
When did it change? When did it change? When did it change? You remember, go to the source.
Around the time when we integrated into the white people's schools, because they still control everything. So that means they control the propaganda.
Yeah, but they were able to enslave us. You said they had more than us. We had more than them.
All I'm doing is explaining why we are in the position we're at.
So white people got jealous of black folks, somehow beat their ass, and have constantly been able to beat their ass ever since.
They got a hold of guns before we did, and they used guns to conquer. We conquered with our minds.
Wait a minute, but we're so smart.
Yeah, of course we are.
Why wouldn't we have those weapons?
We would never have the thoughts of having such a device to torture, because that's all guns are used for.
But blacks were some of the main people who created torture.
Yeah, you're talking about now again. I'm talking about
no. I'm talking about back then. Blacks, from what you're saying, were the first ones who created slavery, and whites perfected it.
I never said that.
Blacks were the first. If we are the originators of all of this shit, then we are the originators of the bad shit too. We can't just take credit for good shit. That's not right. We were the originators of having one person with more money than someone else. We were the originators because we didn't have a society where everyone was rich. We were the originators of having an aristocracy. We were the originators of making a deities. We were the originators of slavery. Whites just perfected it. We were the originators of war. We created war. We just didn't do it like they did. We can't get mad at somebody for perfecting it. Everything we get better at white people than, we make fun of them. Let me tell you what would happen tomorrow. If blacks got their hand on the nuclear weapon and was able to take over America and put whites back in slavery, we would cheer and remember that day that we were able to do it. We would memorialize that day when we took over and oppressed whites.
I don't think black people were the way we are now. Back then.
I can't believe
I think, like I said, everything we know